Number 258. Garen Dugas, Denton. There you go, Coach. $100. His number was 170. Troy Byers, East Jefferson. Is Troy here? Troy Byers, East Jefferson. He's here. All right, and the last one, you can see Amanda with Cap X. Cap X, you'll get 36 free hats from Cap X. Javian Williams, Bro Bridge. Here you go, Ted. Yes, sir. Very sweet. All right, our next presenter is going to be the head coach at Rice, David Pierce. From 2003 to 2011, Coach Pierce served on the Rice staff under legendary head coach Wayne Graham, first as a hitting coach and then as a pitching coach. During that time, Rice baseball reached the NCAA tournament every season, advanced to 5 Super Regionals, 4 College World Series, and captured the 2003 National Championship, the first in school history. Since 2012, Coach Pierce has been a head coach at Sam Houston State, Tulane, and Texas. He has 494 wins while leading his teams to 11 NCAA regionals, 4 super regionals, 3 College World Series appearances. At Texas, Coach guided the Longhorns to 6 NCAA tournaments, 4 super regionals, 3 trips to Omaha, while capturing the Big 12 championship in 2018 and 2021. Coach Pierce is a Baseball American National Coach of the Year, a 4-time Conference Coach of the Year, and a 2-time LBCA Regional Coach of the Year. Please welcome head coach with Rice, David Pierce.
Thank you. Get set up here real quick. All right, great to be back in Louisiana. I spent the 2 years at Tulane in 15 and 16. And, you know, when I came to New Orleans, I thought, great, we got this big city, we're gonna have this big crowd, huge fan base. Come to find out, they were all LSU fans. So we dealt with that, but it was a great 2 years. We enjoyed it. Loved being here. It's interesting too. Jay's won 2 national championships in the last 3 years, and hell, I got fired at Texas, so we kind of took a couple of different routes. But I will say this: Jay's done a tremendous job. When you get in these big schools, and everybody thinks immediately you just get all the talent. You go out there and you just roll the ball out and you win. I mean, he's a great developer. I watched his career from when he started at San Diego to Nevada to Arizona, and then now to LSU. So just really watching his career and his progression. You guys are lucky to have him here in the state, but great to be back in Louisiana. We've had some, tremendous battles here, but also just enjoyed the culture, enjoyed the people, and all those guys that you don't send to LSU, you can push them over to Houston, and we'll take some of your great players as well, because I know you got a lot of them. When we look at today, we can go ahead and flip it to the first one. I've got to get help with the clicker. I'm not as sharp as some of these young guys, but this first clip is like basically says do everything opposite of what Jay just said. All right, we're going to work really tense, be as tight as humanly possible. For us Catholics, we just say a prayer, see what happens. Maybe we got a shot at it. All right? And nobody hits the ball the opposite field and expects to get to the big leagues. No, that's all wrong, right? But sometimes we have so much information out there with the world of Twitter, with so many different voices in your ears, that I think hitters really get confused. And so we have to be cautious of our interpretation of how we present it and make sure they interpret it the right way, because they struggle with information. They're really good with structure, very good with structure. But sometimes the interpretation is on us, and we got to just be cautious that they understand what we're trying to say. I play a little golf, and I play golf because, one, I enjoy the competition, and it's something there's no way I can conquer. I'm not very good at it, but it really helps me in coaching because it gives me some patience. Because when somebody explains something in my golf swing, I have no clue of what they're talking about. I can't feel it. I don't see it as well. But in baseball, I can feel it and see it. So it gives me a little more patience when I'm trying to explain something to a hitter or to a pitcher that, hey, it's not as easy as you think, but we've got to put ourselves in their shoes and see if we can get them to do what they're capable of doing versus what we feel like is pretty easy to do. I have Lance Berkman on my staff, and Lance is like, well, just do it like this. Well, Lance is one of the best hitters that ever played in the game at the highest level. So at times he struggles with, going from A to Z and explaining things to those guys. So we'll move to the next clip and get to the reality of what we say every single day. And that's really work easy, stay close, and be on time. Work easy, we're really trying to just take the tension out. We're not swinging easy, we're just taking the tension out. We want to feel our hands. We want to make sure we have our head stable, and really just be in control of our body and be in control of our movement. If we can be on time, or we'll just get to stay in close, I'm just going to have better plate coverage. I want to be in a better spot. It's going to improve my swing path, and then I'm always trying to be on time. When I talk to our hitters, it's like, what are we trying to be on time to? And the first thing they say is, I'm trying to be on time to the fastball. Well, that's right, but really we're just trying to be on time to where we want to hit from. And I think Jay mentioned it too, is like, I would much rather be a little early than late, because as soon as I'm late, my swing's going to break down. So what we're trying to make sure is whatever our movement is, we want to make sure that we're on time. In our situation, I would just rather have some relaxation, kind of creating their approach in the box, where I want them to take the tension out so they can feel their hands. And then as they start their movement, I'm trying to be on time to right there, and we'll get into that in just a minute. We can move to the next slide. This is real important because I think so many times we talk about intention, but it's not necessarily what we're doing. It's the emphasis that we're placing on what we're doing. And the emphasis is being able to make sure that you're doing things with great intent. In other words, if I want you to drive the baseball to the opposite gap in the cage, I could give you a lot of mechanical work, but I would prefer that you get to the right feel and try to repeat it over and over and over to get to that spot. So it's not just the drills that we're doing. I'm not a huge drill guy. The drills are much more about rhythm and timing for me, but it's much more about what we're doing as far as what is our intent, what is our work mentality, what is our approach there versus just doing a drill. And I think that's real critical. For us, when I talk about reference, we label our plate, and this is really big for our entire program. One is closest to the hitter, all the way to 5. And it's such a good reference for us because we'll get into some of our work and you'll see what I'm talking about. But it works not only with our hitters. Just take, for example, we're in a batting practice session and a guy rolls the ball over and I just say, hey, where was that? Instead of him saying, well, I think it was away, I want him to be a little more precise. It was a 4 zone. So that ball was in the 4 zone. That gives the hitter some information. All right, I've got a ball in the 4 zone. I hit the backside of it, hit a weak ground ball to second base if I'm a left-handed hitter. All right, so immediately I create a reference, let that ball travel. You want to think hitting that ball line drive backside, and just understanding your timing is going to have a piece of it, but just the reference in itself. We utilize it on the pitching side as well. Let's say we're in the course of a game and a hitter fouls off a pitch. I look at our catcher and I say, where was that? I want him to just, all he'll do is just give me a number, 3 or 4 or 5. What he's telling me right there is, all right, maybe we were trying to throw a fastball down and away in the 4-5 zone, and it was fouled off. I like the pitch again. So I say, where was that? He tells me it's in the 2 zone. So we missed our spot on a pitch that the guy looked like he took a good swing on it. So I know we could probably still go back to that 4-5 zone. So it's a great reference. And for me, with our hitters, I want our hitters to really kind of go to the Derek Jeter model. I'm looking for a fastball right down the middle. I'm looking for the fastball down the middle in the 3 zone. And it really kind of simplifies their mind and kind of gives them some clarity. It's not the only thing I'm swinging at. It just basically gives me a lot less adjustments. If I'm looking 3 zone and I get a 2 zone, a little bit closer to me, I have a 1 ball adjustment. If I'm looking 3 zone and I get a 4 zone, I have a 1 ball adjustment. If I'm looking 1-2 zone and I'm swinging at 4-5 zone, I've got a big gap there. So we really use it. It's one of the best things that we do. And you can label your plate 0 through 7. You can call it whatever you want. But it has really helped me in communicating with hitters and communicating with pitchers. So if we're going to throw a fastball in the 4 zone, we'll just go fastball in the 4. And then we have our secondary pitches off of that. But really, from the offensive side, all our work is based on the plate in our approach right there. That makes it really easier for our reference and our communication. So we can move next one. Everything for us starts with mentality. Everything, from how we carry ourselves to how we get off the bus, how we walk, how we do our work. But how do we create our mentality? We create it through the ability to go in and put the work in. And I want our players to get to the ballpark early and not be in such a hurry to leave, get their extra work in our team period. That's when we're going to go group, team, very little individual because we're on a time period. And I want them to be able to put their time in. If they put their time in their warm-ups and their drill work, they're going to build confidence. And if they build confidence, they're going to be a better hitter for us. So everything's about mentality, more so than the actual drill itself. We all have some swing flaws. The mental game, much more about, again, just kind of building our routines, our breathing, all the things that the performance coaches are talking about. But really, that's it. When I look at preparation in this category, it's a little bit more about in game. And one of the problems that we have, or we have so much information, and now we have so much information in the dugout as well, is that I want them to pay attention to the pitcher that's pitching, the guy that's coming into the game, versus looking at the numbers. So you can start that in the dugout when you're in the hole on deck. But so many times they'll bring a new pitcher in, and our guys literally turn their back looking at the paperwork on it, looking at his spin rate, what his fastball is doing. And I tell them all the time, pay attention to the pitcher. He's going to give you all the information. He's going to tell you if he's got a quick tempo in his delivery, if he's got a short path, if he's over the top, low 3/4. He's going to tell you what breaking ball he's throwing, if he throws the changeup. So he's going to give you a scouting report if you will just pay attention. And I think that's a big thing now, because so many times they want to look at the analytics, they want to look at the numbers, and we utilize the numbers. But our eyes tell us so much information, and it's very important. And you don't have to have the numbers to get the information. And I think that's the key. The human element's the key there. Next one. All right, we'll talk a little bit mechanics, and then I got a great video right there that was on the network with Kyle Schwarber. But our setup, I don't care if their feet are together or wide. It's all about how they move in the box, or in their balance and the ability to get on time. We have some guys that are very upright. If I'm going to be upright and my feet closer together, there's probably not going to be any negative movement. I want to make sure if I'm there, everything's a positive movement. And so I'm just really reaching and striding to hit. If I'm a little bit wider, I'm probably going to pick it up and set it down. If I have a high leg kick, that works as well, as long as we can maintain our balance. And I think one of the keys for me is making sure our weight stays on the inside of our back foot, inside of our back knee, and the inside of our back hip. Because what normally happens, if I'm here and then I get some negative movement, I'm out of balance, and then I start spinning. If I get a little bit wider and I like to just pick it up and set it down, I don't want to ever get my weight on the outside of my heel. I'd like to keep my weight on the inside and feel like I load right through this piece of my body. When I talk about no stride, there's some guys that will go to a no stride or just hit in a no stride, but I'm not a big fan of the no stride and just turn it in, just because I don't think we get any kind of leverage there. I know there's great hitters that have done that. Pujols is one, the best. But for me, I like to just think in a no stride of just literally just pick it up and set it down. So I've got a little bit of movement where I'm just going to pick it up and set it down right there, and just kind of shorten my timing up. But for our setup, literally, I'm just trying to get to where I want to hit from. I think if you do that over and over, if you're a hitting guy, it doesn't really matter where you start. You know where you want to get to. And being able to get to that spot for me is just so important of understanding that timing. If I've got a guy going 95, I'm probably going to shorten that timing up just a little bit with my hands to make sure I'm on time. If I've got a guy that's lefty that's trying to trick me, 85, 86, 88, I've got a little bit more time. So I'm just trying to make sure that I'm moving easy and I've got a really good approach there. The backside movement for me is the key because the initial movement's going to really control your swing path, everything that you're doing. We talk about the kinetic change. So we want our back elbow and our back knee, everything connected together. And you saw some videos with Jay on like Bonds is a great example. But as I get from here, I want to feel those two working together. And we do a couple of drills to make sure we're not dumping the barrel. And I think that's when kids get in trouble and they start talking about launch angle and lifting the baseball. It's not right. But our movement, we want to make sure that we are connected with our lower half and trying to get this elbow into the slot. All right. And so many times when people do it wrong, they get to the slot back here and they're dumping that's when we get in trouble and start dumping the barrel. So I like to think in terms of my elbow being out in front of my chest. So as I bring that in, it's still out front and I'm in total connection right there. And from that position, now I'm just releasing. So if I get pitched down and away, I want to make sure I can stay closed, stay on that pitch, and now extend through the lane. If I get the pitch up and out, I'm same move, but I'm just kind of flattening that swing out. Not really flattening the swing, but really it's just about the posture there. One of the key things, and they're so correlated, and I think that's kind of critical. In my career, I've been on both sides of the ball. I coached high school for 11 years. I've been a hitting guy. I've been a pitching guy. I just look at it as like it's just a baseball guy, just trying to do whatever I can to help players. But if we can't stop, we're not going to have the violence from our backside that we're looking for. So we just call that the decelerator. If I'm pitching and I continue to glide, I'm just losing my lower half, and it's no different as a hitter. So we've got to stop, right? So we talk about the decelerator in our movement, and then we do some drill work for that, and I'll show you some of those drills. When I'm in my stance, I've got to be able to control that movement right there. So for me, I get a lot of guys that get really hard and quick, so it's just there. And what I'm trying to do is maybe just slow them down a little bit. So I use the term reach versus stride. So they're not hard on that. I want to be on the instep of my foot. As I stride, I want to be able to control that movement because it's kind of crazy. We're moving forward, but we're trying to stop to rotate. So we've got to make sure that we can control that. So what I want to be able to do is reach for that position. There's that heel drop, and there's that kinetic backside movement works off the heel drop. We don't really talk about a lot of the step, heel drop, move. It's just really, we want to be able to stop, and if we can, we have to resist there. And so we're looking for resistance as much as anything, just to be able to stop and be able to get that backside through. Talking about the decelerator into the swing path, again, I'll go back to the initial movement. If our initial movement is right, we have a chance to get into our slot, be connected, and now we got a chance to have the correct path. For us, we're trying to get to this position over and over, where I want the barrel out front, but also want to be in this connection. And one of the things that I really look at is this gap between the arm and the body. If I get this there, I'm early. I'm just trying to get to that position over and over, and then whatever pitch it is, if I can then decelerate or stop. So I'm trying to create that swing path there. But again, it's about our posture. When we talk about lanes, we're just trying to say if we're working the 3 through 5 zones, our barrel at contact is staying through that gap. And so we utilize the batter's boxes and do an extended imaginary line into the gaps. And so we're trying to just stay away from in and out, contact. I like to even tell them, and we do some drill work on it, where there's my contact point that I'm trying to hit a second baseball. So I'm just going to kind of continue my length and my extension through the ball. Same thing on pull side. We're just trying to stay away from in and out, but much more about contact and staying into the gaps. So we call that our lanes. And then length is that piece. And then when we talk about lean, it's kind of off stride hitting. When we're beat, can we stop, decelerate, and still change our posture and lean on those? And we'll get into some of those drills. You ready? Oh, yeah, let's show this. This is on the network with Schwarber here. And if you just talk about everything, I think he's made as good of adjustments in the big leagues, being in the big leagues, as any hitter, where he's literally in a good spot. We know he's athletic. We know he's strong. He's done a great job with his body, and he's got great plate discipline. He knows what he wants to hit. He's looking for a ball 1 through 3 and trying to create pretty good discipline on balls that he can't get to. But if you watch this right here, watch the connection between his elbow slot and his back knee, and that's what we talk about with the kinetic chain. And he's got that elbow out front where he's not dumping the barrel, and I think that's the number one thing. But he's a pull hitter, right? I think, we all get caught up in driving the ball backside because I think you're creating your swing path. It's not like I have to be cautious with a lot of our guys because we're working 2-zone early on and they start pushing the ball. So the 2-zone, even if we're in middle op rounds, we're using the pull side gap. We're literally just trying to stay away from hooking the baseball. So we don't want them to push the ball, but having the ability to let the ball travel, getting to that position and now extension through contact is what Kyle Schwarber's done a great job with. And of course, he's strong as ever, and he'd absolutely crush the baseball. But I just think that he's gotten better and better in the big leagues, not only in experience, but just being able to recognize pitches and not missing his. He just doesn't miss his pitches. You can still get him out, breaking balls away, down and away, but you're going to have to come in there eventually if he's patient and disciplined. So I think he does a great job of that. I don't want to insult anyone here when we look at these drills. This is typical T work, but what I'm looking for on this, you can go ahead and run it, but what we're really looking for is kind of the focus of our T work. So it's simple, but I think it's important. I want them to track a pitch so their eyes are on the pitcher. We're tracking a pitch, and we always set the seams to a reference where I'm looking at seams down, working the inner third of the baseball. All right, so I'm using the seam as my reference to help my path, help creating my path on that, and then mixing the tee up in different zones. Next one. Tee work can be wasted or it can be very efficient. I think let's don't start it yet. That's on me, right? But on the tee work, we want to make sure, if we can't hit line drives in the back and side nets off of a tee, we probably need to stick on the tee a little bit longer. And I'm not huge on the tee drill. I like the front toss probably a little better. But there's kids that need to get good at the tee before they move on, because all we're trying to do is repeat our swing. So I want to be able to set up the ball in the 1 zone, hit it out front. Can I stay through my lanes? Am I clean? Am I hitting a line drive? Am I inconsistent of taking a 3 zone up the middle because I'm backsiding that, I'm pushing it off of me, I'm popping it up. So we've got to be able to be very consistent with just hitting line drives to the back nets on the tee before, we expect to be good in the next one. So in the next one. All right, so in our front toss, what I like about the front toss drill is, to me, these are more warm-ups than drills. Can you run it? These are much more warm-ups than drills, and I think any of us can still do front toss. Again, it's about intent. That ball's in the one zone, trying to stay in the middle of the field, not pulling the baseball, not working backside, just really, really good focus, really good intent, trying to stay in the middle of the field. The next one's just an extension. I prefer to go short toss versus flip if I'm throwing it. I just feel like I control this a little better. It's probably 25 feet, and it's just right there. You can sit in a chair, you can go one knee, or you can just stand up and throw it. But you can run that. But to me, these aren't really drills. These are really just your warm-ups, and then we kind of create a menu in the cage. This is a switch hitter that got buried for a couple of years and ended up leading us in hitting last year for the last 6 weeks when he got an opportunity. But again, we're not trying to do too much. And again, I'm not trying to insult anybody because I know you guys know what you're talking about, but just the intent of our work. Now, this becomes a part of their mentality because, hey, did you get your warm-ups in? Did you do your routine drill work before team or before any kind of structured period that we're working with you? We want to utilize that for our team, our competition, and et cetera. All right, so what's next? I don't even know. This is what we do pretty much every day, whether it's on the field or in the cages. And again, you'll see the numbers are basically the plate. And so when we start out, we start out with our truss rounds. Our truss rounds, we talk about letting the ball travel. It's about a runner on third, less than two strikes, hit and run. So we can go trust every day, and then, all right, we're in a hit and run situation. They should go to their trust approach. We got a runner on third, less than two. They should let the ball travel, get the runner in. If we get a runner in one time a week for 14 weeks, which is our regular season, that's 14 additional RBIs for that one hitter. So trust is just literally, how deep can I let the ball to get to right here? How deep can I see the baseball to be able to make contact here? And really, I'm not even that concerned with how hard you hit the ball. I just want you to feel the ball travel and feel your ability to suck your hands in and be really tight right there. And then we can mix it in variable speed if we throw the situation in there. So, all right, we got round two, we're going variable speed. We got a runner on third, less than two. All right, so it's not just we're not getting a fastball down the middle with the runner on third, two bags open. We're not getting that pitch, so it's variable speed. Coach can mix them. So now we're challenging them to get the runner in, mixing our speeds. But the trust round is just trying to build some confidence to see the baseball a little deeper. Middle op, the cool thing about this is you go, all right, middle op. So we're looking for the ball 3 through 5, and then the first two pitches are in the one zone and they're hooking it. It's like, all right, that's part of your plate discipline as well. We're trying to work pitches away from us to have the proper swing path and to have the right timing. We do these every day, gap to gap, 2 through 4. You can't go wrong. There's very little adjustment. If I can have good discipline, leave 1 and 0 alone, 5, 6, 7, leave them alone, and just focus on 2 through 4. If I think fastball down the middle and I get a hanging breaking ball, and I'm thinking fastball gap to gap, hanging breaking ball, I got a chance to pull over the pull side wall, but keep it fair. So everything we do is based off the fastball. We're not good enough to just go in there, run on second base, and just sit breaking ball. For us, it's if I'm hitting correctly on the fastball, I'm going to put myself in a good spot for the breaking ball. So gap to gap, 2 through 4 is something that we do every single day. And again, you can go back to launch angle and what people are talking about. We hit line drives every day. All we work on is trying to hit line drives in the middle of the field every single day. Leverage rounds. This is kind of fun too, because then you kind of find out what kids want to hit. So we go leverage rounds. They'll get in the cage 1 through 3. So now they're in a 3-1 count. We're looking for this pitch. And so we're getting our A swing off in our leverage rounds. So we've earned the right to get to a 3-1, a 2-0 count. We're getting our A swing off. It's not just about pull, but if that's what I'm looking for, I want to get my A swing off and I'm going to get the barrel out front. Then you got some guys get into their leverage rounds 3 through 5. They want the ball away from them in that round. So now we're working on our discipline of taking this pitch and looking for this pitch and just trying to increase the percentages of success there. Similar to what Jay was talking about with different colored baseballs, you can just throw your BP. All right, we're only hitting the 4-seam, we're taking the 2-seam. So are we tracking the baseball? And you can do it with colors, you can do it with splitting your baseball, coloring one side and or just hitting the color ball. But we like to go a little bit more isolated, like 2-seam, 4-seam, or we're going to hit the curveball, we're going to take the fastball here. We're going to take the curveball, we're going to hit the fastball. So we want to get to this position so we can see the baseball a little bit longer and make good decisions. Alternating variable speeds. Pretty much every day we'll go fastball changeup, fastball breaking balls, and then we get into situational rounds. Challenge rounds, all competition. Yesterday our competition was you have game winners. Game winners, 1's the minimum, there is no max. So if you pop up the first one, you're out of the cage. Next guy goes in. We had a guy yesterday get 12 hits in a row. So he got 12 swings, just back-to-back, line drives, gappers. It just kind of creates a little bit more focus because they get more swings. And then we have a competition. We have a winner, and we have a loser after those rounds. Love competition. I mean, I'm not big on, hey, let's just go get our drills in and expect us to be great. I really like to have some kind of competition in everything that we're doing, but also all of our drills are kind of structured around rhythm and timing. It's all about rhythm and timing. It's not mechanical. They get enough mechanical information. And I feel like a lot of times we deprogram kids more than we program them, trying to kind of get some of the stuff out of their head and free them up and become athletic again. And we struggle with that at Rice. I spent 9 years at Rice from 03 through 11, and then, took the head coaching tour, Sam Houston, Tulane, Texas. But the thing is that we're so analytical that we've got to dummy them down, clear their minds, and get them back to simplicity. I think we can go to the next one. All right, these are a little bit more of the drills. I have no idea what my time is. What do I go to, 10:20? All right, so on these drills, go ahead and, I think we have video on these, right? Okay, so first drill is our bounce drill. I really like this drill because when we talk about posture, we talk about decelerating and hitting off stride and staying in the lanes. You can go ahead and run it. So what we're looking for is the ball's going to have different timing here. We can bounce it high. Now he's got to reach or lean on that. I want him to expand a little bit in the zone here. He actually swung and missed on that one. They wanted to change it. I said, no, keep it in there. But let's go back to that again. Just the thing I like about this drill is just it kind of creates different timing. And so you're going to have to stop or you're going to have to go. But the first thing is I want to get my foot down or by timing and rhythm to be on time to hit that pitch right there. Now, I think he did a poor job on that one. It's a 5 zone, and he was in and out of the zone instead of on that one. He probably just needed a little bit more length there. And that's kind of helps with your two-strike hitting, two-strike approach where, hey, we need to maybe expand a little bit. Next drill. And again, I like to feel like every drill that we do is more about rhythm and timing, creating competition with it. Go ahead and play it. I don't think that we demonstrated this as well as I like, but it's fastball, fastball, and then it's literally a lob pitch. Can they slow down? Can they get to their stride and still stay relaxed with their hands back versus tensing up and everything gliding? So they have to really stop. There it is right there. But they really have to decelerate. So it's just really variable speed, but it's fastball, fastball, mix it in there. Or you can go a lot of lobs and then mix in the fastball. Next one. Step in drill, to me, again, it's about rhythm and timing and kind of feeling your hands move. Really feeling, I don't think Ashlock did a good job. To me, I want to see really a little bit more of just stepping in and feel that. I think it's a better drill on tees as well. But for me to step in, Happy Gilmore, whatever you want to call it, but I'm gonna feel my hands get into that position to right here to where I want to hit from if I've got some rhythm in there. So I like the step in drill. And it also kind of helps kids get off of their backside, or if I've got some momentum going, now I start my transfer and get through contact versus so many times guys want to be back here and spin. And a lot of times that happens too because they're not on time and so they break down. That's the step in drill. Next one. Step back. This is one that I think is so critical to feel that balance where you're not getting outside of your back foot. So as I step back, I don't want to be here drifting. Now I'm either going to spin or I'm going to go try to really push off. So as I step back, I want to feel my weight again inside of my foot, knee, and inside hip, where I really maintain that balance, and I can kind of ride that stride right there. This kid came to my camp as a freshman. He was about 5'2", 100 pounds. Freshman in high school, went to junior college, made full circle. Now he's a junior college kid, a really great kid, great ball player. He's not big and strong, but he really knows the game, and he'll play second or short, but he'll start second base every day. And I mean, it's just a ball player. Next one. All right, self-toss, really just fungo. Can they toss a ball and hit a fungo line drive? It's amazing the guys that don't really create any kind of separation with their hands and are one-piece swingers can hit a fungo because it's very mechanical. Can they get that rhythm and just hit a line drive with the fungo bat? I think it's a great drill. Not too bad. But just the ability to toss it, create the timing, stay inside, creating your path, and you can do it by yourself. Next. We'll go back to the beginning when we were talking about dumping this. The overload is going to help prevent me from dumping the barrel where I have to really control the barrel out front. So I got a heavier bat on this. And I'm really just trying to get the barrel out front, getting into my slot and being connected with my backside. And then the underload is literally wiffle ball. I want to feel my hands. We actually do play wiffle ball, where they just get in there and have some fun. There's no coaching, but it's amazing how they whip it's a lighter bat, but you can just see the action in their hands. You got to have great eye contact. And it's fun. And they can do it on their own. It doesn't have to be a drill setting. It can just be a competition. but we're just doing it there with front toss, trying to create some hand movement. All right, what do we got? I've always liked top and bottom hand swings because for me it creates the path. And for me, when I started thinking about how this path actually goes, it reminds me of just throwing a frisbee. It's exactly like throwing a frisbee, except I don't cup the bat. So if I do this, if I'm going to step in, I'm going to fill that path. I'm going to stay close to my body. I'm going to have extension to wherever I'm throwing it. So to me, I want that fill there. My power's my backside, my front side's my controller, but this immediately creates my swing path. And it allows me to release the bat with my hands once I get to this position. So I really like that fill and then put it together with the top hand. So now I go 4 times one arm swings, and then I put the top one in there. And to me, it's like skipping a rock right there. I don't skip a rock with my elbow back here and dumping. I like to get the elbow out front, and that's the same position that I'm looking for with my top hand. So we go bottom, top, and then put it together with your regular bat and see if they can coordinate together. And it's just helping to build the swing. Really good job of just not allowing the elbow to kick up and create that chicken wing and dump the barrel. Just stay in control there. Now top hand, creating the path, and now we go to putting it together. You really feel the two working together here. And again, we're not trying to pull the baseball. We're just trying to stay inner third, middle of the field, line drives. All right, I think the last one is our offset, open and close. We go both sides. Here we're just looking to stay on the ball a little bit longer, so it really helps us to stay close. And it's just putting the work in. It's not anything there's no magical dust for us. We just got to be willing to go in there and take those reps and stay in the middle of the field and get that feel that we're looking for. You can do that on the field, live BP, short toss. We're just demonstrating it with the front toss. All right, I think that's it on the drills. Just kind of creating their warm-ups, their drill work. And what we do is we have like a menu, what works for that player. But I think that the most important thing is what we do pre-practice, what's happening in the squad or in the game, and then there's a lot of great information after the game. If it's immediately or the next morning, look at your at-bats. Did you swing at the right pitches? Try to not get too involved in your mechanical movement, more about approach, and then maybe finishing the day with the right feel to get ready to start the next day. Next clip. And this is something I just kind of put together that I think makes a lot of sense if you just piece it all together. If I work easy, I'm going to release tension, I'll start early to be on time. If you're on time to where you want to hit from, you'll get a better look at the baseball. If you get a better look at the baseball, you're going to make better swing decisions. Better swing decisions, you'll have better results. Better results, more success, create more opportunity. In our opinion, you just got to always be on time. Always trying to be on time. That's all I got for you. I wish you all the luck. And you know, it's really interesting because when I left Texas and they made a decision to move on, the head coach at Texas State reached out to me. He said, "Hey, what are you going to do?" I said, "I don't know. I'm not going to chase a job. I really don't know." He said, "Why don't you come down here? Come down here and just be with us for a year, 2 years, whatever you want to do." I said, "You know what? If we can make that happen, I want to do that. I don't want to do anything with NIL. I don't want to do anything with academics. I don't want to do anything with fundraising. All I want to do is be there for the players and the coaches. All I want to do is hang out with you guys. And it was the best thing for me to really build my passion back up again from being a CEO to where I started, coaching kids and hanging out with the kids. I mean, it was completely different. And I tell them all the time, they did more for me than I did for them. And what was really cool about it is the relationships were like they used to be for me. I was back in the cages, I was around the mounds, and the kids enjoyed, and I enjoyed the kids. And I think sometimes we get away from that, and I find myself so much more passionate about not necessarily the game, but the players and the development. So I knew I wasn't going to chase a job, and it was kind of very unprecedented. I ended up getting called and ended up going to Rice in March, and I absorbed a team that was 4-17. It was bad. And it was the best thing to come early to be able to get to know those players and not dump all those players. And we kept 20 of them, a tick away here, a tick away there of just really being good. But what I realized is they want to be coached, and their expectations are going to be whatever yours are. If you have low expectations, they're going to have low expectations. If you got a high standard and you expect them to work a certain way, they're going to do it. So you mean a lot more to them than sometimes we think. And I've had a wonderful journey. My goal right now is to just really give back to coaches, give back to players, and kind of go out the way I want to go out. So I'm having a great time being back home, being in Houston. We lost my mother-in-law. My wife was able to be with her for 8 months, which was a blessing. Both my kids, I have 2 granddaughters in Houston. So it's been a great blessing to go back home. But I enjoyed my time here. And please, if there's any players that you got that have interest, that are academic minded, give us a call. Great to see you guys again. Thanks a lot. Good luck.